Okay, so this is 9.2. This is multiplying polynomials. This is a little bit harder than adding and subtracting, obviously, but you guys will be fine. So the objective here is I can use the distributive property to understand multiplying polynomials. So we're going to use what you guys know about the distributive property to help understand what it means to multiply. Okay? So this diagram right here shows that when you have a rectangle with width x, so here's your width, okay, and length 2x plus 3 has an area of 2x squared, so here's your 2x squared, and your 3x's. So what they did here was they separated out their 2x's, so there's x plus x, which is 2x, okay, that gives you this, and then 1 plus 1 plus 1, if you add those all together, that gives you 3, okay. So we can also see this using the distributive property, okay, so area, remember, is just length times width, okay, so if I do that, and I'm actually going to put the width first just because there's only one term. So I have x times 2x plus 3. Okay, so if I distribute that x, then I have x times 2x plus x times 3. Well, x times 2x is 2x squared because I have x times x. And then 3 times x is just 3x. Well, there's my 2x squared. Oops, squared. And here's my 3x, okay, that are also represented here, okay? Okay, so we're going to learn several methods to multiply polynomials, but each method, like I said, is based on the distributive property. Okay, so you can multiply a monomial and a polynomial just like we just did up here, okay? So if you take this and you distribute this through, okay, just like if there was only 2 terms, you still give it to all 4 terms. So I have 2x cubed times x cubed plus 2x cubed times 3x squared plus, and I'm going to use a plus and then make this a negative 2x. Okay, so 2x cubed times negative 2x, and then plus 2x cubed times 5. And then I'm just going to simplify that. Okay, so x cubed times x cubed, well, we learned in our exponents that when I have x times x, that's x squared, but if I have x cubed times x cubed, that means I add those exponents, so that's 2x to the 6th, okay? This is why we did that section first, okay? So then I have 2 times 3, which is 6, and then x cubed times x squared, which would be x to the 5th, okay? Then I have a positive times a negative, so that's going to give me a negative. 2 times 2 is 4, and then x cubed times x is x to the 4th. And then I have 2 times 5, which is 10, and then just x to the 3rd. Okay, so that would be your final on that. So if you just have a monomial and a polynomial, you're just going to distribute just like normal. And again, you don't have to write it out like this. If you want to go straight from here to here, that's fine. Okay, but it's much easier to keep yourself from making mistakes if you do it this way. Okay. The next method is the box method. Now, I know a lot of people are like, this is a lot of work, but I've had students in the past who have actually really liked this method. So don't knock it till you try it. Okay. So I'm going to put my first one on the top. Now, you have to put that negative 4, or the negative with the 4. Even though it's a subtraction sign, that's really x plus negative 4. So you have to keep that in mind when you separate those out. Okay? And then I have 3x and 2. Okay? So then you just multiply. So 3x times x is 3x squared. 2 times x is 2x. Negative 4 times 3x is negative 12x. And then 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. So now, you're always going to want to combine these two, okay? So that equals 2 plus negative 12 gives me negative 10x, okay? So then my solution would be 3x squared minus 10x minus 8, okay? So that's one way to multiply polynomials. And really, that's multiplying binomials. So that's one method, okay? Another method you can do is to multiply polynomials horizontally, okay? So you say, I'm going to multiply this times this whole thing right here, okay? Because you still have to get this times everything on the inside. So I'd have 2x squared times 4x minus 3. And then 5x times 4x minus 3. And then negative 1 times 4x minus 3. Okay? So you still have all of that. Now we have to distribute. Okay, so now I distribute everything here. So I have 2x squared times 4x. So 2 times 4 is 8. X squared times x is x cubed. Okay, 2x squared minus 3 times negative 3 is negative. 2 times 3 is 6, and then I just have x squared. Okay, 5x times 4x is 5 times 4 is 20. X times x is x squared. And then I know I do 5x times 3, that's 15x. Okay, then I have negative 1 times 4x, which is negative 4x. And then negative 1 times negative 3 is positive 3. Now, I'm not done. Okay, I have some like terms that I need to combine. Okay, so I have these here that I need to combine and these here that I need to combine. Okay, so the 8x cubed stays where it's at because there's no like terms to combine with it. Then I have negative 6x squared plus 20x squared. Well, I know it's going to be something x squared. Okay, negative 6 plus 20 is 14x squared. Okay, then I have negative 15x minus 4x. Well, that's going to definitely stay negative, and it's going to be x. Negative 15 minus 4 is negative 19x, and then add 3, because you just have that 3 left over. Okay, so that would be your solution. Okay, you could also do the box method with this one. You would just have to have, you would either have to have 3 going down or 3 rows like this, because then you could have 2x squared, 5x, and negative 1, and then you could have 4x and negative 3 like that. Same kind of thing. Okay, so then you would combine this way, this one, and that one. Okay. Okay, the other method you can use is called the FOIL method. And 2 years ago when I had 8th graders, they wanted to call it LOIF instead of FOIL. They wanted to do the last first. It doesn't really matter what order you do it. The word FOIL is just to help you remember the order, just so that you cover everything you need to multiply. Okay, so FOIL just stands for first, outside, inside, last. Okay, now this is going to be my go-to method when I multiply. Okay, so just so you know that that's going to be the way I do it. Okay, so first would be here. So 2x times 4x is 8x squared. Okay, then there's outside. So the outsides of it. So here's the outsides. So 2x times 1 is just 2x. And then your inside. So 3 times 4x is 12x. And then last would be your 3 times 1, which is 3. Okay, and then you just combine these two right here. So then you have 2x plus 12x, which is 14x, and that's your solution right there. Okay, eventually we'll go from here to here, and that will be all kinds of fun. I know you guys will love it. Okay, that was sarcastic, but I think you guys will like it. Okay, so go ahead and try 1 through 4, and then I will walk through them and have the answers for you. Okay. So you should be pausing me, not watching me do it. You should be pausing me and trying it yourself. Okay, so now I'm going to walk through doing these. So when it's just a binomial times a binomial, I'm always going to FOIL. Okay, so first would be x times x, which is x squared. Outside is x times 2, which is 2x. Inside 5 times x is 5x. And then last is 5 times 2, which is 10. And then I combine, and 2x plus 5x is 7x. So that would be your solution to that one. Okay? Okay, number 2, first, so 5x times 4x, that's 20x squared. Outside, 5x times 3y, well 5 times x, or 5 times 3 is 15, and then x times y is just xy. Okay? Inside, 2, it's negative, so this is going to be negative. 2 times 4 is 8, and then you always put them in letter order, so like it goes xy, not yx. Okay, and then this one, your last, it's negative again, so 2 times 3 is 6, and then y squared. Okay? So then I got to combine here. So I would have 20x squared, 15xy minus 8xy is 7xy. And then I have minus 6y squared. So that would be your final answer. Okay? Okay, number 3, I'm going to multiply this one first. So I just distribute that through. So I'd have x squared plus 4x. And then that would be times 3x minus 7. So that's technically still a binomial times binomial. So I'm still going to FOIL. So I have my first. So x squared times 3x is 3x cubed. Okay. And then I have my outsides. So x squared times negative 7 would be negative 7x squared. And then I have my insides. 4x times 3x. Well, 4 times 3 is 12. And then x times x is x squared. And then my last is 4x times negative 7, which would be negative 28x. And then you combine this. Don't forget that this negative 7, this 7 is negative. That's one of the biggest things I see is that we just go, oh, 7x squared plus 12x squared, 19x squared. Okay, this is negative 7. Okay, so that would be 3x squared. Negative 7 plus 12 is 5. So that's 5x squared and then minus 28x. Okay. Okay, last example on here. So we have x squared y plus 9y times 2x plus 3y. Still two binomials that I'm multiplying together, so I'm still going to use FOIL. Okay, so it just gets a little bit trickier with this one, but we can do it. Okay, so I have x squared y times 2x. So I know it's going to start with a 2 because this one doesn't have a coefficient. Then I have x times x squared, which is x cubed, and then I just have y. Okay. Okay, then I do my outside. Okay, so then I have x squared y times 3y. So again, no coefficient other than the 3. Okay, and then I don't have an x squared in this term, so it's just x squared. And then y times y is y squared. Okay, and then I do my inside. So 9 times 2 is 18, and then that's xy. And then I do my last. And 9 times 3 is 27, and then y times y is y squared. So there's actually nothing to combine here, okay? So you see lots of x's and y's, but none of them are the exact same, so you cannot combine them. So that would be your final answer, okay? Okay, last thing is writing the polynomial for the shaded region. So this is the area of these two put together. Okay, now this side, how can I represent this? I can represent this as x plus 5. And if I'm going to do area, it's x plus 5 times 3x. So this would be 3x times x plus 5. So then you just distribute. So then it would be 3x squared plus 15x, just like that. So that would be, once we knew what x was, I could plug it in and find the area. Okay? Okay, your homework is at the bottom. You have a half sheet that you'll have to get from the sub, and you'll have to do these bookwork, okay?